everybody, welcome back to another episode of Visual Effects Artists React. This is a very special one today because we are joined on the couch by William Mesa. William has been a part of the film industry for a long time. He's been a key figure in a bunch of famous, well-known films, Fugitive, Stand By Me, Army of Darkness, and he's here to share with us the early days of visual effects, plus more about this amazing invention that we talked about earlier, known as Introvision.
For those of you who don't know, Introvision is essentially the precursor to modern LED volume stage filmmaking. This started it all before computers.
Well, thank you guys for having me here. I'm sort of telling my history of my life for the first time.
This is one of the actual armatures from Army of Darkness right here.
I never realized until just now that rib cages make great sheaths for swords.
I think it'd be important here to do a quick pause and talk about the Introvision system one more time. So basically, a projector projects a background into a beam splitter that's at a 45-degree angle to camera. And from there, the projected image is bounced onto a retroreflective screen and then back into the camera lens. So the actor stands in front of that screen, and it looks like they're in front of the background. The foreground elements and the extra wide elements are actually from a side screen that the beam from the projector has passed through. And you use cutouts to dictate what parts of that side screen show up. So the reflections of the side screen and the reflections of the main screen with the actor all combine on the beam splitter, and then you see that with the camera in the eyepiece, requiring no post-visual effects. It's all just right there in camera.
So you can make shots massively larger than what we had. We had a big screen. We had a 30 by 60 screen, so that was a lot of area for actors to work on. Introvision brought me in. They didn't really have a camera person or a person to shoot plates and different various things, so they brought me in to shoot some plates that they were going to have to put actors into, and I came in and shot a bunch of vegetables that had to make them look giant.
Was that like forced perspective type giant vegetables, or did you actually build giant vegetables?
No, we use real vegetables, but I just got in with a product camera. I'm used to shooting products. I come from a background of commercial photography, so I knew how to get in close and shoot things. The company already knew that they were going to do the movie Outland, and they asked me if I wanted to be a visual effects supervisor. I asked them, what's a visual effects supervisor? And that's really how my career started. It's just by accident.
So Outland was a film. It came out in 1981. It was your first visual effects supervising gig. You guys used the Introvision machine in this to put Sean Connery against a space backdrop, because it's a sci-fi space station set. Wow.
What? What? Wait, I'm trying to comprehend what I just watched. There's people there in the distance on like some sort of like space station type thing, and then it pans over, we see more. I'm like, okay, that's a pretty cool tracking shot. But then there's people coming down the foreground suddenly out of nowhere. And then
well, they're on the set against the big screen.
Those people below the crane and on the space station, that was done previously on a shot, and now that's a plate that you're then separately projecting as a whole finished thing onto anher screen. That's already pre-combined.
Yes, that's pre-combined, and then we had the set. We did a lot of shots like this in the movie. It was all to make the movie huge, to make it look big. That's all on the side screen, except for the ladder we had on stage. Pretty much all this imagery is all on the side screen.
What about that one bar going across that's actually on top of him there?
Well, because we can mat that. We can mat things on top of the actors.
Are you just basically like painting the mat in, or is there like bits of like fabric
well,
that you use?
A lot of times it's just tape.
Tape?
It's more like black masking tape. It's a black tape, because you are projecting an image on top of the black tape, because the screen puts back about 80% of what it receives. It can't show up or can't perceive onto the camera because it's so dark.
Oh yeah, I can kind of see right as he dips below that pipe there where that matte line doesn't quite line up with the pole, but it sold me.
We have a set piece there, but we also have a matted actor onto the Introvision set, because that's only just a plate out there.
So you basically have a stack of shots here that you had to shoot, develop, project, shoot, develop, project, and film, and then develop again effectively to get your final footage.
Yes.
Really inventive.
Woo! Check it out. I'm on my own Introvision set. Just kidding. It's just a TV, which is much simpler than an Introvision set, but I'm starting to enjoy the simpler things in life, thanks to today's sponsor, BetterHelp. So, speaking of the simpler things, I made a New Year's resolution to relax more and worry less. That's what I've been working on with my therapist for this past year. I always keep myself very busy and I put a lot of stuff on my plate. Sometimes I feel like I'm infinitely running on a hamster wheel that I don't understand how to get off of. Talking to a therapist reminds me how to get off of it. That's where BetterHelp comes in. BetterHelp makes it super simple to sign up. You just answer a few questions and they connect you to a professional who has years of experience of helping people with struggles just like yours. And to make things even more simple, you can talk to your therapist in whichever way makes you the most comfortable. Whether that's text messaging, a video call, a regular phone call, all of those are available to fit your needs. And if you're thinking about signing up, it's super fast. You're usually matched with your therapist within 48 hours. Personally, I think that the faster that you can start talking to someone, the better. So we've already made it pretty easy for you. We have a link in the description below. Go to betterhelp.com/quartercrew and you're gonna get a special discount on your first month of therapy. So with all that being said, I'm gonna get back to my Introvision set. You guys get back to yours. See you later.
What was like the next big film that really utilized Introvision in kind of like a distinct way from, say, Outland?
I'm gonna jump to Stand By Me. You know, Rob Reiner and the producers, everybody said at the time we did the film that we couldn't say there's any visual effects in the movie.
Oh, well, that seems to still be a thing today.
I guess that's a timeless
It's
thing.
still, yeah.
We got to do all the jets practical. I'm saying right now, no CGI in the jets.
None of it's CGI.
You didn't want any CGI.
And what we did, actually, we did this for real.
Actor Mark Hamill has now confirmed that BB-8 is a physical prop, not CGI.
Why couldn't you talk about it? Were you like...
They didn't want to. What they wanted to do is make the audience feel like they were in serious jeopardy.
This movie, we actually put that child actors in real danger for this film.
And shooting one of the plates where they were coming at us, Rob kept telling, bleed the brakes, bleed the brakes. What happens is when you bleed the brakes, you lose the brakes. We have the VistaVision cameras sitting on the railroad tracks.
Did he end up hitting the camera with the train?
He
Smashed the camera with the train?
totally crushed the lens and the front mount of the camera. Now this is like the matte counter matte right here. Where they're jumping from is matted. They're matted behind the side screen. So they had a platform hidden, and that was all part of the plate so that when the train crosses over, it's crossing over onto the matted area.
Okay, because you can kind of see that there's a little bit of like a gamma shift between the
there's
background and the
there's a
foreground.
little
like
bit of
a mismatch
contrast.
there, yeah.
The reason why that happened is that they wanted more fill light on them. Well, that fill light spills onto the screen.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that washes the screen a little bit.
You know, when trains shoot that steam out the side, I never knew it was them letting pressure off of the brakes, and I never knew that it meant that they couldn't brake after they did that. That's a really interesting train fact that we got in this VFX Artist React episode.
Train facts.
Could I jump ahead to Army of Darkness?
From Sam Raimi. Oh, that's gonna hurt! Army of Darkness.
You brought us something really special when you came in today.
Wait.
This is a stop motion puppets that was made. And he's one of the main characters in the Army film.
You there, handsomely now.
This is one of the actual armatures from Army of Darkness right here.
I never realized until just now that rib cages make great sheaths for swords.
Welcome back to the land of the living.
We had these mechanical rigs where they would have a little pole or wires on it where the motors would turn it and it would make them lift up and move their arms or move a shovel out of the way. But it was motion control because we're stop motioning these in the foreground. And we did have some of these shots that took 36 hours straight of animating.
Oh my God.
So would the animators swap out, or would the person just marathon it?
No, they would marathon it. They would take a break and that type of thing, but they knew it was a huge amount of pressure and work, like that shot there. See, some of those things in the background are not just stop motion. Those are all motion controlled.
So you effectively built tiny little robots that just move a little bit.
Right.
There's a lot of famous scenes from this film, but this scene in particular is a very iconic, famous scene. How did you guys film this?
We actually did a set. So the set is not flat on the ground. It's sort of an angle. And we're projecting the background of the set plate through a cutout.
And I notice you have scenes where like they're interacting with the background plate, and because you can see it through the eyepiece, you can actually tell the actor, like, all right, 2 feet to the right, put your hands up here.
Exactly. And we would have to do a number of takes, obviously.
How was it working with Sam Raimi?
It was great. Probably one of my funnest times ever making a film, you know. He would always torture Bruce doing this. He'd make him do stuff over and over again. And like, I didn't like that. Your smile was too big. Throw more smoke in his mouth.
Everything's cool. I said the word. I did.
This is like a very typical Introvision shot. He didn't have any money for the set, so we had to create plates for even all these close-ups. Everything.
Oh, so
pretty
the
much
close-ups are
even,
Introvision.
yeah, even
so
everything.
Stuff. So that shot is 100% miniature.
Yeah, that's all 100% miniature.
Crazy.
Time to stop running.
It's not over yet.
So we've looked at this sequence from The Fugitive before. You worked on the sequence, so I'm curious what we got right versus what we didn't get right. Like, what are the things that we didn't quite understand?
Well, if you go to the train crash itself, when he jumps right here, when you explain this, obviously that's a side screen.
Now, where's the matte line then?
Well, you know, we're much better at doing it by this time. All these are miniatures, miniature
it's
models.
So perfect. It's composited so perfectly.
Dude.
That one shot there is the real plate.
What, right here?
This is the real train. Peter made me use the real train because he said, we have to say that we use the real train.
And obviously, still an Introvision shot.
Yeah,
but the footage behind Harrison Ford here is the actual real train.
What
and
happened?
It looks exactly like the miniature.
That train way overshot where it was supposed to be and moved like a whole part of a mountain over the top of our VistaVision camera, which was a new camera, a new VistaVision camera. So we had to dig down like 6 or 8 feet
to dig
the camera out. We're starting to dig, and we got couple of the main lights are on it so we can see what we're doing, and all of a sudden, all the lights go out. They're all gone. Everybody's gone home. We're yelling, where are the lights, you know? And they said, oh, they're all gone. You're gonna have to work with flashlights. So they brought us two flashlights.
Oh no. Digging the camera out of a pound of dirt.
Like
Everybody else went home.
But we got it out.
That sounds so bizarre to me, because it's like, they put in all of this time, effort, and money into getting this shot.
Yeah, it's like, the shot's under the dirt, guys.
Like, you gotta get the shot. This is what we paid for.
Well, visual effects were always the secondary group in a film. Peter knew that I would get the film.
Okay, so
Peter knew that we're going to stay there no matter how long it takes and get the film.
Oh.
The only thing that I wanted to say about Fearless, that was the movie I was doing with Peter Weir, is Jeff Bridges, we had to have him on a top of a roof. Of course, you couldn't really do that. And so we created plates and did a lot of on-stage work. When we were on top of the roof in San Francisco, all these women would put their phone numbers on windows out there and say, I'm available tonight, you know, when he's doing this. And we had a hard time. We could only shoot a certain direction because we couldn't look to the left because all these people, when they put all these phone numbers on the windows. So,
I wonder if Jeff called any of those numbers.
And this wall here that he's seeing here is actually not on the edge of the building. It's actually on the roof, but it's about 6 or 8 feet from the edge. But here, see, like there, that's the Introvision. We created that.
Gotcha, yeah.
That was so scary doing those plates, even though.
Oh, I bet.
But we also had the plane crash. To shoot the plates, we had to get a camera car. We actually had, they had a cornfield grown for us because there wasn't corn out in the area we were doing in Bakersfield. I don't know how many acres. Of course, they were going to sell the corn.
They grew an entire cornfield to shoot the movie, and then they sold the corn afterwards. And they did this over 20 years before Christopher Nolan did that with Interstellar. I wonder if that's where he got the idea.
But we had to take a camera truck and go as fast as we could get the camera truck and then hit the cornfield and go as far as we could go before the corn would stop the truck. And then we did all of these miniature pieces that we broke up. And
whoa, that fireball.
William, you have so much experience and so much work under your belt. How did it feel going through those technological changes? Did it leave you scared? Did it leave you worried? Did it leave you excited? What was your perspective on it?
Well, I was very excited about looking at new technology. I was always looking at new things. And of course, when I got into 3D work and digital compository, we were always looking at what's happening and of course what's happening today.
Is there any project you would like to make sure we talk about before we wrap anything up?
I've been working on games. I have several games out right now. Double Switch, Corpse Killer's out.
And these are full motion video games?
Yes. But Maximum Surge is the one that's really complicated.
So you started this back in the 90s.
But anyways, we're just putting together this whole game. I've still probably got another year on it because this has all been redone. It's going to be a lot of fun. The programmers, are creating it, making it a much more fun game to play.
So you transitioned from movies to games to kind of make your next evolution, huh? That's really cool.